A little bit of a pre-thought before I get into this video. Did you guys honestly see this coming? I did, because this thing is broken as fuck. How's it going, everyone? Mega Mashers here, and holy fucking shit. Smogon is putting up yet another suspect test on Landorus-Incarnate. Now, a little bit of a background of Landorus-Incarnate. Oh, hey, genie in a bottle. Well, I guess it makes sense because, Landorus, kind of genie and all that stuff. And a very fucking powerful one at that, let me tell you. Okay, so a little bit of a background about this guy. Friggin' Landorus-Incarnate. Holy shit, my computer's lagging. Sorry about that. Landorus-Incarnate is an old... just... wow. I can't even put together words correctly to express my opinion on this. Let's just say that this thing is absurd and overpowered. And I'll tell you why. Because of sheer force. Sheer force is an ability that boosts the power of your moves by, I believe it's 33%, but at the cost, you don't have any secondary effects in those moves. So moves like Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Focus Blast, Psychic, Rock Slide, moves like that, they get a 33% boost in their power, but they lose their secondary effects. And you couple that with Life Orb. Life Orb is an item that boosts the power of your moves by 30%, but at the cost of 10% of your health. But get this, Life Orb's recoil gets negated by sheer force. So that means you have a 63% power boost in all your moves by default. And pair that with the fact that it has access to Calm Mind, which means that it can boost its special attack and special defense by 1 stage. It has access to Swords Dance to boost its physical attack by 2 stages. It has access to Rock Polish, which is able to boost its speed by 2 stages. So it's like, oh my god. Like this thing is the ultimate wall breaker. And it's just it's crazy. Like with a base 125 attack, base 115 special attack, and moves that gets boosted in power thanks to sheer force if you use moves with a secondary effect. Oh my god. Like this thing, I've seen this thing sweep so many teams with this thing. Like, this thing has access to Knockoff, making one of its biggest special counters, seemingly, being Chansey. Knockoff completely destroys Chansey due to the fact that it removes its Eviolite, and it can just start walloping it with super effective sheer force, Life Orb boosted, Calm Mind boosted Focus Blasts, and you stack that up with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Psychic, Rock Slide, Knockoff. It's just like, now this thing does have something called 4 move slot syndrome, but that shit doesn't matter. Yes, it has a 4 times weakness to ice, but it has respectable bulk for it being a completely deadly, like, mixed attacker. And you know what? If this thing didn't have something like sheer force, then, it wouldn't be as broken. But sheer force Landorus, with access to Swords Dance, Calm Mind, Rock Polish, has access to utility moves such as Stealth Rocks, has access to utility checking moves such as Knockoff to get rid of items and Eviolite Chances, and then just proceed to completely mollywop them with the likes of Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, Psychic, all of which have secondary effects and gets boosted by 33% at the cost of taking away those secondary effects, and not to mention fucking the recoil-free Life Orb boost. That is absurd. Like, oh my god. Holy shit. You know what? Like, this, I gotta say right here that this is one of the best calls that Smogon has ever made. I actually agree fully with this suspect test. Now, do I think that this thing is going to be banned? You know what? That is honestly a very good question, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to want this thing to be banned, but there's also a lot of people out there that don't want this thing to be banned because, for reasons like, like it's 4-move slot syndrome, it's 4 times weakness to ice being very common, da 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 da. It's just, I don't know. Like, this is honestly one of the most overpowering Pokemon, and yes, the fact that it has 4-move slot syndrome, and one of those 4-move slots end up being taken up by a boosting move potentially, or Stealth Rocks or something like that, and it's just, I don't know. I can honestly see this thing being banned. There is a reason why I believe last generation this thing was. Well, actually, no, you know what? It wasn't banned to Ubers, but it was good enough to use in Ubers. I was thinking of Thundurus. Thundurus was banned to Ubers thanks to Prankster Nasty Plot. But this thing potentially being banned to Ubers thanks to Sheer Force, Life Orb, recoilless free boosted moves with a secondary effect, such as Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, Psychic. Like these moves right here, these moves provide insane coverage. And really the only Pokemon that stands a good chance against Landorus-Incarnate is a bulky fucking Mega Latias. That's it. And even that still has trouble dealing with it. And Pokemon like specially defensive Zapdos, you know, those things think that they can take special hits, which is fine, but then there's sheer force boosted Rock Slide, which is super effective against Zapdos due to its part flying type. And then you also have Pokemon that run very absurd spreads, such as specially defensive Skarmory, to try and counter or at least check Landorus-Incarnate. So it just goes to show how ridiculously over-centralizing this thing is, how it forces people to run odd spreads on Pokemon to try and take on Landorus-Incarnate, and they're constantly worrying about this. So, I mean, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I completely agree that this thing needs to be banned. Now, a little bit of instruction here for those who are laddering to vote. You need to achieve a coil rating of 2,700 or more in the OU suspect test ladder. Now, the question is, am I going to be laddering up? No. And the reason for that is because, like I said previously, I am not necessarily the best battler. I'm not a bad battler either, but I'm not the best. And achieving a high ranking of a coil of 2,700, in my opinion, that takes a lot of time and dedication. That's something that, in terms of time, I don't have a lot of, because I'm very busy outside of my Pokemon video making. But just to remind you guys, this suspect test will go for approximately 2 weeks and will end on Sunday, May 31st. So for those of you guys who have a little bit more time, you do have time, approximately 2 weeks, to complete, or at least try your best to complete the laddering of 2,700 and cast your vote. Now, that's pretty much all I have to say about this video. I really don't want to drag this out anymore, but please leave in the comments section down below your thoughts on this suspect test. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? Do you want this thing to be banned? Do you not want this thing to be banned? Tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. Just be sure to keep things friendly in the comments section. I don't want to see people, saying that Smogon sucks and, say that, like, Smogon don't know what they're doing, this, that, and the other thing. There's been a lot of that. But see, I agree with what Smogon is doing. I mean, the thing of it is, they take Pokemon that are insanely overpowered for any respective tier, not just OU, and, they test it out, and they have people who have had experiences battling on Smogon and Showdown, which is their simulation platform, and they ask them for their thoughts. They ask them, do you want this thing banned? Do you want this thing unbanned? They also go by usage, too, that they will rank Pokemon in terms of their usage when it comes to tiers. That's basically all I gotta say about this video. I've rambled on enough. Hope you enjoyed it. I shall see you guys next upload. post-thought on this. It just occurred to me that if Landorus-Incarnate does get banned, then I'm thinking that Mega Diancie might be next. That thing is like Landorus-Incarnate 2.0.